biggest challenges I faced was having to deal with the extra workload and the transition from doing GCSEs to the diploma. It was very difficult for me to A, organise my work, and B, take on all of the extra stuff I had to do. The whole of the first year, IB1, was really a really difficult experience. I struggled a lot with the workload. I struggled with organising my work and timetable. So by the end of the year, I actually finished, my predicted grades were something like 29 points due to my mock exams at the end of the first year, which was a huge disappointment. That led to me having to spend 2 weeks with my grandparents in the summer doing intensive learning courses and working on all of my subjects really hard. And I had to have a major attitude shift that summer in order to actually do well. So I came back for IB2 in the second year, and I had really changed the way I felt about the IB and what I was doing. So I ended up actually graduating with 35 points, which was a great relief for me and actually got me into my first choice university, so I was really pleased about that. From doing the diploma, I guess there are two major things I learned about myself. The first would be that I don't handle stress very well. If I don't prepare myself for what's coming up ahead for essays or exams or periods of where I know I have a lot of work going on, then I generally tend to panic if I leave things too late. And actually post-stressful period, I kind of, I think it must be some kind of defense mechanism. I kind of blank out that period of my life. So looking back on my IB exams now, which I prepared well for, I've actually got like no recollection of being stressed out at all. And the same goes for my GCSE exams or writing my undergraduate dissertation or my postgraduate thesis. It's all, in retrospect, a very pleasant experience for me. But I know at the time that I was under a lot of pressure and was not probably handling it as well as I could, but not feeling great the whole time. The second thing I learned about myself was that I'm actually really goal-orientated. I guess in some respects it's something that kind of you can attribute to all human beings in general, but I realised that I need to have something to work for. And at the end of IB2 I was struggling a bit, as I've said before, but and I wasn't really sure where I was going to go with my life. I mean, I had an idea that I wanted to be a teacher or an archaeologist, but I hadn't applied to university. I hadn't really considered where I was going. So coming into IB2, I then had to write university applications and get my personal statement out of the way and references. So I worked out that actually I really, really want this and I need to work hard for this if I want to get there. I wanted to get into my first choice university and study archaeology. So I really had to work very hard for that, and it's kind of carried on with me for the rest of my life. It's something that thanks to the IB, I learned quite early. I guess I also learned that I really value the help I get and the support I get from my friends and family during difficult periods of my life. I've kind of learned that there are friends, and I guess actually this comes from growing up anyway, but particularly through something as something that invokes such camaraderie like the IB diploma program. I learned that my friends are actually really, really important, and we kind of are still there for each other 8 years later after meeting them. We're still great friends 8 years later and 5 years after graduating, so it's really a wonderful experience that brings young people together as well. I mean, there are things all over the internet. There's an IB memes Facebook page which kind of blew up while we were still at school, and it's still going on today. So there are things like that which kind of bring not only one cohort together but IB students as well. It's something that kind of, you've gone through this program together, and it's something that you share and can empathise with each other over. So that's also a really nice element of being an IB diploma graduate. So I've been immersed in and got to know other cultures anyway before actually doing my diploma program. So I was technically a third culture kid and experienced different ways of life and ways of knowing already. So the diploma wasn't kind of the first interaction I'd had with anyone from other parts of the world or different cultures. So it's kind of already part of the way I viewed the world. But looking back, I think the curriculum is actually great at introducing students who might never have had the fortunate experiences I have to what it's like to be part of another culture or another country. For instance, we studied in English A1, we studied literature from Ireland over different periods. So we studied from the 18th century up to the 19th century and early 20th century. And we looked at South American literature and Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and we looked at Indian literature. We did a bit of Danish literature as well, so that the IB diploma program gives both teachers and students the ability and the flexibility to choose what areas they're interested in and to study according to their needs. So, I mean, we had we had 3 English teachers. One was Irish, and she was particularly interested in Irish literature and sharing that part of her culture with us, which I think was really valuable, both for her and for us. And we had another teacher who really wanted us to expand our understanding of literature and look outside what we thought we knew. So we studied classics like Arthur Miller, but we also looked at A Doll's House, which is a wonderful play that we had to study for higher level. So access to different kinds of literature is something that the IB definitely gives you. Also, the same can be said for history, where you get to look at different areas of the world, and economics, where you can focus on different countries. So the IB is great in that sense, because you can tailor the course and the curriculum to your students and the student body, and in that way no IB diploma course is actually the same, which is really, really wonderful. And if you compare that to students who are doing something like A-levels, they don't really have the breadth or depth of that experience, which is a bit of a shame, I think. Overall, I really did enjoy my diploma experience. I learned a lot about myself and my friends, and how I respond to periods of pressure. But obviously it wasn't always easy, and I was very lucky that I was in an environment that kind of supported me even when I wasn't doing very well. A lot of the IB diploma depends on the teachers you're with. I guess again I was very lucky in that I enjoyed almost all of my teachers, and they were brilliant and helped me get where I am. So in some respects, the IB diploma is obviously very subjective because of where you are, what country you're in, the staff employed at that time, the students in your cohort. Yeah, I really did love all of the teachers who taught me, and I loved all my subjects, and I loved the way it was structured. I guess the only criticisms I might have would be that perhaps the IB diploma asks almost too much of students, particularly in their first year. Though again, that comes down to the school and the way they organise their time and their curriculum. So instead of kind of having all deadlines for internal assessments, extended essay and theory of knowledge essays all at the same time, you could spread them out over the 2 years, which would be a lot more useful. But I really did overall enjoy my experience a lot looking back on it.